It's much better, I think, instead of dropping price for people, maybe giving them incentive. Hey, what's going on, Solarpreneurs? Today we're going to be talking about how to increase profitability, how to make more per deal, something we all should be trying to do because we all want to be making our dough. We want to be making cash. So let's be making what we're worth. So I'm going to go through a couple ways that you can start to make more money per deal. Welcome to the podcast. My name's Taylor Armstrong. We're here to help you close more deals, generate more leads and referrals, and have a much better time in the solar industry. Couple asks before we get into today's podcast. If you have not left us a review or a comment, please go give us a review on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube. Let me know where you're tuning into the content. We have seen more of a shift. More and more people are listening to these on YouTube. So let me know where you're tuning in from. And the second thing is we have a couple blitzes coming up on our team. If you are interested in joining a blitz and making some good money and being around the best of the best, hit me up. We've got a few spots available for upcoming blitzes. The link is in the show notes. You can go apply to come join us on our blitzes. Only the best of the best. Okay, so this topic, I want to give a shout out to my guy, General John Soriano. If you're not following him, this guy is one of the best leaders, I would say, in solar. Learned a ton from this man. So go shoot General John a follow. But he did a training for our team down here in San Diego, and he was just talking about this topic. So a couple of the points are his ideas and things that I was reminded of as well. So shout out to John. Go give him a follow. But the question that he asked us when he started this training is, what's better, the salesman that installs 60 accounts at $10,000 or the salesman that installs 100 at $5,000? Okay, and maybe you're like me, maybe you need to pause and actually do the math because I'm not the greatest at math. But if you take a second and think about it, the math on it is 60 installs at $10,000, that equals 600,000, right? 5,000 at 100 installs equals 500,000. So obviously the one that installs 60 at $10,000, they're doing better. Right? So we need to ask yourself, are you selling profitably? Hey, maybe you're selling a lot of deals, but maybe you're giving the farm away. Right? So how can you make more money per deal? And how can you do it without necessarily screwing over the customer? Because especially depending on the market, I think there's a point where, you got to be serving the customer and you got to be feeling good about what you're selling. Okay, we do this in California, so it's actually pretty difficult to screw over a homeowner because the rates are so high here. But I like to show some pretty good savings. Right? Some people, they sell straight bill swaps. So I think in California, in most cases, I think you should be showing at least a little savings. It shouldn't just be a straight bill swap unless they're, on a ton of discounts or some other circumstance, like a roof or something like that added in. But maybe you're in a market where it is bill swaps, or maybe you're in a market where you're never showing customer savings from year one on day one. Okay, so in those markets, you still can feel good about what you're doing because that's just the nature of it, right? You're still doing something that's beneficial to them. So how do we install more and focus on the profits? I'm going to go through three things that I think are super important to do that. And the first is you need to have consistent follow through. Right? What I mean by that is we need to be showing up for our customers, not just on the day of signing, but also after. Right? So do you have a system in place? Are you nurturing your accounts? Are you giving them weekly updates? And this is something that John went through in his training that's I've been hit and miss on. I've heard it from a few people, but haven't done this consistently. I thought it was a great idea, and that is just creating a group chat with your customers and using that to give them the updates throughout the process, right? And even better is making sure you have all decision makers involved in the process, right? So if it's a husband and a wife, making the group chat with Johnny and with Jane, and then labeling the chat, Johnny and Jane go solar, or the Bryans go solar, whatever their last name is, right? So I like that. You have one central place. It's not just like text all over the place, because I've noticed that sometimes you have installers communicating with the customers. They're getting texts from this and that. So many people, and I've been culpable with this too, is just sending them texts without even having the customer save my phone number. It just causes confusion, and a confused mind always says no. So if you can have a central place where the customer feels like, okay, this is a safe place, I can get updates, I can ask any questions, it's just going to make the process go smoother. It's going to reduce cancellations, and it's going to cause less confusion and get more referrals too, which is what we all want. Okay, so if you have an assistant, or if you have a setter that set the appointments, even better is include them in it too. Because how many setters get like ghosted when they're trying to get updates too? So this is a way where you can keep not only the homeowners in the loop, but your setter that set the appointment, if you had someone on it, they can know. And if you have an account manager or an assistant that's helping, which I definitely recommend if you're doing more than like 5 deals in a month, they can give the updates in this group chat. Right? They can pop in there, because the idea is that you should be in many appointments as possible. So maybe you don't have time to respond, but your assistant should, your account manager should. So take it to the next level, get someone that's also in there. And even if you don't have an account manager, then at least you got, if there was a setter on the deal, at least they can also help take on some of that responsibility of giving the customer updates. And yeah, they should, depending on how much they're making on the deal, they should be able to get involved in giving them updates. And then another thing, little bonus tip with the follow through is have someone show up on the day of the site survey. Again, maybe you're too busy for this, but if you have a setter, they can show up. If you're in the area, I would try to show up. All right, there's so many deals where if they don't make it to the site survey, they're canceling. The site survey, it's the number one, I would say, factor of if the deal is going through. If you can get a deal site surveyed, then the chances of it actually getting installed go up exponentially. I don't know the numbers on it. I don't know the stats, but I would bet that it goes up, I don't know, 50% at least if you can actually get them site surveyed, because that means they're bought in. They had someone there for the site survey, and they're pretty interested. They're not canceling if they can get a site survey, most likely. Okay, so that's step number 1, consistent follow through. Step number 2 is know how to make the deals more profitable. Okay, I had a deal, this was 2-3 years ago, where I actually made negative money on it. Okay, and it's because I didn't do my math correctly, didn't sell it profitably, it needed a new roof, and I gave it away. I thought I was making more than I actually was on the deal. The roof got installed. I was only going to make, I think, $800-900 on it. And then customer threw a fit because he thought gutters should be included in that roof, and they weren't. So our roofer just did the gutters anyway. It was a whole mess. Kind of long story, but long story short, I made negative money on this deal, and it's because I didn't calculate my things correctly. I said, and I think this was last podcast, I had another one where just because I mixed up the financiers we're going to use, I picked one that I didn't calculate the commission correctly, and I ended up making $2,000-3,000 less on it than I thought. I think this was last week I did that podcast. So moral of the story, know your product, know your commissions, try to calculate beforehand how much you want to make and what you actually need to sell it at. And don't let the customers haggle you on price. Okay, we talked about this in our trainings too. It's much better, I think, instead of dropping price for people, maybe give them an incentive, maybe give them $1,000 at install, maybe offer to pay their first 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Hey, because if they see that you're in control of the pricing, that you can drop the price, now much more likely to shop around. Going to be tougher to get the deal closed. They see you're in control of the price. So try to make it so you're not in control of the price. If you need to throw out an incentive, hey, are you military? Are you low income? Whatever. You can ask some qualifying questions. Great. We're going to pay the first 6 months of your bill. Much better than having to like sit and recalculate pricing. Just pay them some money if you need to. Right. And then just also another thing that's come back to bite me is know which financiers are going to possibly give you a hard time. For example, we have a few options that will allow like metal roofs. We have a few options that will allow mobile homes if they own the land. And so many times it's happened when on our team, someone has gone to like a weird situation like this. Maybe it's a mobile home. Maybe it's a home that's in a trust that needs extra documentation. Sometimes there's just financiers that are going to be a headache, or they're not even going to approve a deal, depending on the situation. So we have a cheat sheet for our team where it just lists out exactly what can be approved. Another example is if they can do second homes, vacation homes, or rental properties. Ran into this. We're using Good Leap out here on our team. I tried to sign it with a customer, a rental property, got kicked back because it needed proof of occupancy, and customer couldn't provide proof of occupancy. He's not living in the home. So it got DQ'd. We had to switch to another one. So in this case, I don't think it had a massive effect on the commission, but it definitely made me change things. I had to go recalculate it, and I did make less because the EPCs were different with the different financer. What I was going to make was different. So know your products, know your financiers, know your lenders. It's going to save you headaches, and it's going to make you more profitable. It's going to make you more bucks in your pockets. That's step number 2. And then last but not least is just focus on the income producing activities. So many people, I see closers that go close a deal and then they'll spend the next hour or two doing paperwork or following up for this and that. And you got people that are sitting in their cars doing back end work at 5, 6, 7 at night. It's like, come on, guys. So know what time is most effective for maybe going out and prospecting. What if you could do that back end work in the morning and then you could go sell during those hours? Okay, and then also just like setting appointments. Okay, some people maybe got like a packed schedule with setters and all that. But especially if you're just self-genning deals, you should never be setting a deal at like 5, 6 o'clock if possible. Okay, unless you have a packed schedule, set that appointments at 7:30 or 8 o'clock when it's dark, right? Because that just gave you an extra 2 hours to prospect. You could have got another golden lead, golden prospect, and then you can go close your deal. And you got another solid one lined up for the next day. I've been guilty of this many times too, is just letting the customer dictate when they want me to come back. But if they ask you, hey, can you come back at 6 o'clock tomorrow? Be like, that's, you know what? Looks like we're booked at that time. I have 8 o'clock. That works for you guys too, right? Most of the time, people are just like, yeah, that works too. It's like after 6, they're home anyways. Okay, you get some people maybe that have kids, whatever, where maybe you do need to do it at 6 o'clock, or maybe you do need to do it at a time where it's like prime prospecting, prime knocking hours. So yeah, you got to do what you got to do. It's not always going to work, but just make the attempt to set appointments outside of those prime prospecting hours, and you're going to multiply your effectiveness. Okay, and then if you do have setters, another question to ask yourself is, how many doors can you knock on in a day? John, he asked us this question when we were in this training the other day. And most people, it's like, yeah, you can maybe knock around 100 doors in a day. Okay, so if 100 doors a day, that's kind of where we cap out at. But if you have 2 solid setters, how many doors are being knocked? 300, right? So another way to increase your profitability and another way to focus on income producing activities is multiply yourself through recruiting. Get other people to go do the income producing activities. You're going to multiply your effectiveness. You should be making more money if you have some setters. Okay, especially if you're following these other principles. But don't be the guy has setters and you're never going and knocking with them. You're just waiting, sitting on your hands, waiting for the next lead. Okay, I mean, unless you're like packed, you should always have time to knock with your guys. You should always have time to go self-gen a few deals and lead by example, lead from the front. Okay, so I hope those things help you just think of some ideas on how you can be more profitable in your solar selling. Okay, again, just to review them, is number one, just consistent follow through with your deals. Create group chats with your homeowners, with your sales, and you show up to site surveys. Number two, know your products, know your financiers, know your lenders, know how to make the deal more profitable, know which one to sell depending on the circumstance. And then number three is focus on the income producing activities. Don't be focusing on stuff that's not going to make you money, and make sure you're prioritizing things. Okay, if it's 5 o'clock at night, don't be going and doing back end work when you could probably do it in the morning. Okay, so I hope those things help. Send this out to your teams. And the last thing we have before we wrap up today's podcast is, if you know someone that's crushing it in solar, we are looking for guests all over the place. Would love to get anyone you know that's crushing it in solar or in business or in life. We look for all types of people. Anyone that has a cool story to tell. So hit me up either on Instagram or shoot us an email, support@solarpreneurs.com. And we would love to hear your guest suggestions or topic suggestions. Okay, so hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Go sell some deals, and we'll see you on the next one.